Hey guys, Shefsky here. Just a little note before the episode starts. I just wanted to say, hey, we took a few weeks off, obviously, because there's been so much going on um, with the protests and just so much going on. Obviously, I don't even know how to word it. It's been a lot. It's been intense. So I just want to let you guys know some of these episodes were recorded before this happened, before the protest happened, after some of them recorded after, but I didn't feel comfortable releasing stuff because I didn't want to be tone deaf and I didn't want to kind of interfere with the importance of, I don't know, the social communication and the airwaves being kind of used for more important stuff than me being silly and having fun. So just so you know, that's just like a note before listening to these episodes. There's probably about 5 or 6 episodes that were recorded either before or after or around that time that weren't released that are getting released later. So if you're like listening to it, you're like, this sounds like this was recorded a while ago. Like they're referencing stuff from 3 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever it is, just so you're aware, like I've got a jumbled backlog basically of Fantasy House episodes that I'm releasing now. And they might not make sense on the timeline of actual reality. It's just so you know. And I hope everyone's being safe out there. Be it safe and having fun. That's the new BS. HF instead of be silly, have fun. Be safe, have fun. I hope everyone's being safe. I miss you guys. I hope some of our hardcore listeners like Barry Thomas and Paul, both Pauls, Daddy Bird Paul and Paul Sanders and Peyton and Sassberry Pie and all of our just fantastic, awesome, supportive group of people that have just been wonderful. I hope you're doing well out there. I miss you. And enjoy some Fantasy House. We're putting it back out again. We're rocking and rolling, and I'm excited to just give some episodes out. And the Zoom, it's still Zoom sound, so the sound's still kind of crappy. But I don't know. There's a lot of spirit in these episodes. I had a really good time recording some really close friends and some really sweet peeps. So I love you guys, and here's the recording from the episodes. All right.
Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. Every week, a different guest takes us on an imaginary tour of their wild, weird fantasy house. It's the world's only NSFW real estate podcast. And it's for people that if you like Rick and Morty and Adventure Time and all that crazy cartoony stuff, and you're like, man, I would just love to watch MTV Cribs in a cartoon world. Well, then this is the podcast for that, because that's what we do. Every episode is brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky, your Southern California realtor, even during a pandemic. Yes, we're wearing masks and gloves, but we're still setting up appointments. People are still buying and selling houses and even planning for after the pandemic's over how they're going to do their real estate. So send me an email at fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com, or you can even get me on Instagram, JONSHEFSKY. Why not? You know what I mean? I would love to chat with you. Hit me up. We'll do a free consultation or whatever you'd like. It would be my pleasure. My guest today is a hilarious stand-up comedian and dude I've known for quite a while, and he's a real estate professional, and he's that's him in the background. We're zooming it if you can't tell by the crappy sound. Scott Boxenbaum's here. Huh?
Hi. Former stand-up comedian and now comedy writer and real estate professional. I don't get up on a stage. I don't get up on stages anymore.
Dude, I haven't been on stage for a while either. But let's get this episode started with our theme song in the words of the great Angelo Bowers. Let us do this. Won't you take it Do you think the internet has been a good thing or a bad thing?
Wow, what an enormous question.
Fun question.
Well, let me give you both sides of it, and I can only give you my own personal experiences with it.
Yeah.
On the one hand, the worst Twitter fights ever, the most corrosive, horrific people ever. On the other hand, I get to meet people online that I never would have met. For example, like I make pizza. If you want to learn how to make bread and pizza, And I'm not saying just in the pandemic, because I know people are baking during the pandemic.
Yes, you're just jumping on the bandwagon. I've been making pizza from before the pandemic.
I was cool before the pandemic, bro.
I had toilet paper shortages in my neighborhood back in 2010, bro.
I put on a mask before the pandemic, bro. I just walked around with it because I'm not look good, because I'm ugly, dude. I was pre-pandemic. So, but like, if you want help with your hobby, be it bowling or golf or pizza, go on Instagram, and there is someone that will serve that lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
And show you how to bowl better or play better golf or make better pizza, or if you like to make tortillas, there is a woman out there who's a tortilla genius who will.
It's a great Twitter handle right there, by the way.
Shepherd, huh?
It's a great Twitter handle right there. Tortilla genius.
Tortilla genius 6969.
Yeah, that's right.
XXX. No, there is a person who is like good at that and is generous with that information.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you like to fix cars, you know, or dude, like go to clan meetings.
To fix something, you just need a quick answer.
Yeah.
YouTube videos. Dude, I had the other day I wanted to barbecue and I had no lighter fluid and I was setting up like tinder and kindling like I would at the campfire, but it wasn't enough to light this wet charcoal. So I looked it up on YouTube and a guy had a way to light it.
Yeah.
Put oil in a little, you drop like grapeseed oil into your paper towel, make a cup for it. And it ended up working after like a half an hour of messing around my own way.
There's some fucking MacGyver out there that will help you with that shit, you know?
Yep. So cool.
I mean, my favorite thing was like, my mom calls me, like, how do I use the remote? I'm like, why don't you Google? And she's like, how do I use the internet? And at that point, if they ask how to use the internet, there's no way you can help them. Oh. You have to drive over to their house. Yep. So at that point, but I took an Uber. I went on the Uber app and had a person who's treated unfairly as a low-wage independent worker take me to the West Side. So there's that. So honestly, extremely mixed blessing is my answer.
I agree. I mean, I don't know if there's a right answer. It's just a fun, big question to ask. And I was like,
an enormous question.
It's an enormous question. It's a great way.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, when I was doing stand-up, I wrote a joke on Twitter as far as 2012 and got into an all-day marathon fight with a bunch of trolls, that's on me, man. That's a complete waste of your fucking day. I remember that happened to Kyle Kinane.
Yeah.
I was doing a show with Kyle Kinane, and the whole day he was engaging in a Twitter fight. And he shows up to the show, and he is exhausted. And
from being upset all day and typing back and forth?
Yeah. Why? Why would you do that? We all learned that lesson the hard way.
I get emotionally affected by stuff I see on the internet. So if I read like really, like for instance, nowadays, like I had to slow down looking at the internet because, you know, the scary and sad and depressing articles about what's going on.
Oh, it's horrific.
So I get emotionally affected, but people's like rage to fight each other, it's hard for me. I almost feel like I have like some form of autism where I'm like, I try to feel that, but I'm like, I can't feel where you're getting that.
Well, it's affected discussions.
Yeah.
So like if, you know, believe it or not, there are still message boards around. So like sometimes I'll go on a pizza making message board. And if let's say somebody says something that's said out of, you know, unwillful ignorance, you know, like they'll ask a dumb question or whatever. I don't know if there are dumb questions, but like, you know, it was 10 years ago, people would patiently answer the question. Now people are like, you fucking idiot, fucking moron, you just turn the oven on, you fucking cuck. You know, it's just
yeah, dude.
Fucking snowflake. Like, you just wanted to know whether to heat the pizza stove. Relax, dude.
Seriously, it's so intense. I wish Mr. Rogers was here to see some of this crap.
Mr. Rogers would get his ass trolled. That's the saddest thing ever. You know who Solomon Giorgio is?
Yeah.
Yeah, very funny comedian. And he got trolled years and years ago. And instead of like engaging in hostility.
Yeah.
He was very sweet to each one of the trolls.
Yeah.
People were like, I'm really sorry, man. I'm just having a hard day. Like, he broke them down with
Dude,
kindness.
Alex Hooper does that. You know, Alex?
Hooper's good at that. And that guy's won like roast battles.
Oh yeah, no, he can be dark and mean and whatnot for that when he turns that on to entertain. But like deep down inside, he's I mean, I can't say who he is deep down inside, but he definitely
horrible.
To take the higher,
just green, just filth. When you cut him open, there's just garbage in there. No, the guy's a yogi who walks on like ropes in between trees with his bug on his shoulder. He's delightful.
I love that. I think that's powerful. That's true power and love and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so he does
it's easy to be a dick back. You know?
Dude, you did comedy for how long?
11 years.
11 years, and then you just stopped cold turkey, or did you kind of phase it out where you're just like, I'm kind of done?
I phased it out. Like I really like year 7 or 8. I was when I started getting pretty good. I was going on the road and, not that much, but, I started to feel stuff and I was getting, pretty good at it. And then I would go through, that's disgusting.
If my mom would say,
you just saw like the shit on his face is awful. No, so I wasn't getting a lot better, and I'd always had a little bit of stage fright, and I was battling that, and I was meditated, which helped a lot. The blessings that got me into meditation.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't moving forward in my so-called career, and I couldn't figure out why. And I'd been in therapy for a while, and I just started to realize like I didn't fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
There was a time in year 10 where I do one of those like 10-minute LA indie show sets, and destroyed and felt nothing.
Okay, so even when you were on stage, you weren't like feeling.
Yeah, just didn't have great comedians or comedians, good, bad, and indifferent, who love it, have that need to get on stage, which is perfectly great. Actors have that. There are a lot of reasons to be a comedian, but that's one of them. And I was dating somebody who I'm not dating anymore. And I just said, man, this isn't fun. And she's like, well, why don't you stop? And I guess I did kind of stop cold turkey,
Yeah.
I went to an open mic and I snickered a little too loudly at a comedian, and the guy shit on me. It was really weird because I was like, I've been doing this way longer than you. How dare you, in my head? And then I realized, I haven't been in the scene in 2 years. What does he give a fuck about me for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no better than anybody. But I realized like this is not fun. I don't miss it. The worst thing about it was when you give up something you've been doing for a long time, you feel like an unbelievable loser. And
totally. I feel that feeling. I know what you're talking about. Not about you, just myself too. Like,
yeah, it's okay to feel it about me too. No, but I felt awful for about a year. I felt like a shit. And comedians, they're in their own world. And when you leave that world, they ain't gonna it's not they hate you, but they're hustling. You're no longer in the orbit. So you're not going to get a call from them or a text saying like, hey man, I missed you, because they're self-involved.
It's focused. It's so focused. I mean,
yeah, by necessity, So that was hard. I felt like I was in exile, And then I started to realize like, the whole time I've been writing pilots and they were starting to get traction. And I had done a web series that got almost 1 million hits on Facebook and won a bunch of awards. And I was like, well, that's my identity. And that's how I do comedy. And I don't need to be in front of anything, in front of an audience.
If you could go, like if your web series was a huge hit and they're like, we want you to tour the country doing stand-up, would you be like, I don't do stand-up anymore?
I'd be like, cool, I'll do 10 minutes.
Okay.
Bye, I'm done. Do you know what's weird is I'm much funnier than I was the last few years of comedy. And I'm and the last year of comedy, when I knew I wasn't enjoying it, I got very relaxed all of a sudden. And I think I'd be a much better comedian now. But that said, I just don't fucking desire doing it. I love my life. I crave privacy and enjoying the things that I enjoy. And I've got back in touch with a lot of my comedian friends, and I love them. You know, I don't want to be the guy that got out of comedy and is bitter about it.
Oh, of course not. That would be
horrific. Yeah. Do you want to be around that guy? I have, you know, an amazing amount of respect towards any performers of comedy. I love working with them. When we shot 8 episodes of a digital series that came out really great called Fully Formed Adults that we're trying to sell now. And I work with Tom Clark, who's the greatest, one of the funniest humans alive. And, you know, and several other stand-ups were in the show. And I love them. I love working with comedy people. They don't take themselves seriously. They show up on time. A lot less of a, right? Because if you show up late as a comedian, that's kind of dumb. You miss your set, you know? And just, you know, you're humble in a good way. Yeah. You know, and it's just fun. You're around clowns all the time.
So you're still acting and doing other things comedy. You're just not doing stand-up.
Yeah, I acted in my series.
Yeah, okay.
I was perfectly fine in it. I had funny lines. But there are people that do that stuff way better than I do. And you write for them. People seem to like what I write, and they seem to think it's funny. And I'm fortunate to have that. And I don't have a problem with that.
Good.
No, I really don't. You know, I feel terrible for, you know, we lost a comedian named Richard Bain years ago. I knew so Richard. Sad. He was a lovely dude. He came to my wedding, my post-wedding party. It's sad when you lose good people.
I've been thinking about him a lot.
One of the loveliest humans alive.
And he was such a sweetheart. I had no idea that he was in so much pain. I didn't know him well enough to know, like, he had a lot of deep stuff going on.
We don't know. And it's hard for people who don't know Richard was just look up Richard Bain, Bain.
Oh yeah, dude, hilarious creative comedian.
Yeah. And, you know, part of the problem is like, and I'm not saying this happened to Richard. It's quite presumptuous to me to diagnose this guy. But some of us who are in comedy rely on that for our happiness, being in front of other people. Well, the last 3 months, nobody's been able to fucking stand in front of an audience. So when you have that, the curtain gets taken off on it goes up on a lot of other problems that you've been hiding, you know?
Totally.
So
I was talking to John Huck the other day just about like how so many people in comedy, like it's, for some of us, it's craft and like an addictive craft to hone. Mm-hmm. But other people, it's full on, it's that and it's medicine for their sanity, because it's like, if they're not out at clubs, if they're not performing and around other people, then they're alone with their thoughts. And I mean, it's so easy to say, like, don't kill yourself. You know, like if you're not feeling good, reach out. But like, you don't know what's going through that person's head at the time when they want to die, that you can't tell them, just do something different than kill yourself. Like to them, that truly was their option.
Yeah.
And they're in so much pain. It's just frustrating because tangible problems solve, but like non-tangible problems, like I can't see what's going on inside something. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, like if you were in a war and your arm was on fire, you'd probably cut it off to stop the pain. It's the same thing when you have that much inner searing pain. And I, as a kid, the younger, I had a lot of suicidal ideation and depression. Yeah. When you're down that hard, you just want to do anything to just stop that. What's burning inside of you. So I call it suicide splaining, when someone leaves the world that way, and then the fucking Facebook, everybody lectures you to reach out to a suicide hotline, which by the way are the worst things ever. They're not good.
Give us a good.
I just had I dated a girl who worked on those things, and my wife is getting her MFA in psychology, and she's told me they're just not well maintained. And it's just like people are like, keep going, you got a purpose, man. Or it's just like
a really generic script that if you call more than once, you're gonna be like, the last person said that.
Yeah, it's just like you might as well, they're reading that photograph of the bird sitting on a wave, being like, greatness is everything, man. Like it's just inspirational quotes. It might as well just be a bot talking to you.
I don't want to go too much longer before we get to your fantasy house, but
we're going really deep and dark here. I'm so sorry.
No, dude, the episodes are different. Some of them are just us joking around and riffing and laughing, and some are deep and dark.
Yeah.
I like that when I listen to podcasts that you never know. It's like you want it to be honest and real. So I hope that's what I'm providing with this.
You picked a dark one, people. All right.
For a real estate podcast. But what I'm thinking is what you said reminded me of like the suicide hotline having generic stuff, having bad, not really doing, it's not thought out and deeply like planned. It reminds me of so much stuff in society where it's like, man, we never let like Einstein really implement like what Einstein said school should be like. Instead we have like not just Betsy DeVos, but we have people on all political sides that have that same generic like milquetoast intelligence and personalities. They've designed stuff, but then it's like, shouldn't we have taken like, it's been a long time since Albert Einstein kind of told us how school should be. Like, shouldn't we go back and like just redo our schools? Or like we have that in medical and other forms of science and politics. It's like, shouldn't we go back and just like change that? But it seems so hard to implement these huge changes. Like we've already, like a domino effect's already happened and it's already been going for so long. We can't just redo it.
Well, I really believe, and Henry Rollins, my favorite jock who my friend says is a bro with good taste. It's my favorite
description. My favorite people, Joe Rogan.
He's the guy who would beat you up in high school, but also turn you on to the best Germs 45 you've ever heard. So, like, he said, I don't know, I'm butchering him. I hate to paraphrase it, but something to the effect that,
paraphrase a meathead. They're afraid they'll get beat up for it. Go on.
Trump is the end product of our educational system and our intellectual environment. This isn't an accident.
Oh,
we live in a very anti-intellectual country.
It's so weird that's even a term, anti-intellectual. I'm proud of it. Like, what do you mean? Wait, don't you want to know? Okay. Again, bring up John Huck. Him and I were just joking about this.
I love John Huck. I hope he's doing well.
He is doing well, and he's
such a funny dude.
Hilarious dude and a great human being. But we're just joking around about it. He heard somebody say the other day how like they don't believe in science, and like
what?
I'm all for it.
What do you believe in? So you believe in a ghost that people worship?
Yeah, it's not a religion. It's a 2 + 2 = 4.
What? I don't believe in science.
You can debate things that science is true and find out ways that like new developments come. But to actually just say like I don't believe in science, like what do you mean you don't believe in science? Like it's just this like weird postmodern like style of like it doesn't even exist. But you're like, okay, I agree that we can say that science is like words made up of symbols and things that equal things that were it's a consensus agreement though, so that we can like measure things and try to understand stuff. So to say you don't believe in it and be proud of that, it's just like, well then what do you believe? And give me back your cell phone and your car if you don't believe in this stuff. Like,
I would respect it more if the person that said that was part of some unique crackpot but interesting intellectual movement that had in the turn of the century there were these guys that the Italian futurists, and they were very nihilistic in the same way, but they had a whole ideology behind them. Then they all went to World War War and they all died. But the future wasn't good for the futurists. So, but there's no intellectual underpinning behind that. It's just like, don't believe in science,
There's like a pride in being dumb and having no compassion.
Yeah, that's just
weird. It's really weird.
Which, like, is a philosophy, believe it or not. Like, okay, that's your philosophy. Well, it's a fucking philosophy. I mean, you're doing it to me again with your words,
What is it? Knuckle Dragger broism or something like that? It's called Knuckle Dragger broism.
Is that a thing? Knuckle Dragger
No, I just made it up. I'm just saying. Knuckle Dragger broism,
Yeah, no, it's like, it really is, and it's a very male thing.
Fucking men.
Well, look, I'm not going to go on that
just
rant, but it's like, but when like men get proven wrong, and a lot of times they'll sit in the corner real stubborn about shit, that's what, to be like, oh no, I will not move from this spot. It's a very, childish little boy mentality.
Oh yeah. And that's, so that's, it's everywhere. But there's also, diamonds in that rough, and there's many wonderful people. So let's leave it on that positive note. There's
so many good people, bro. So many good people. Pizza. This fucking pizza, dude. Pizza's the best.
You just mentioned, Hooper and Huck, and
those are all.
We love our wives.
All the good ones, man. They're all the good peeps. I love them.
Yeah, dude. There's so many good peeps out there. There's so many. Let's go to your fantasy house now that we've had all of our deep discussion.
Yeah. People that have tuned out and they all did, are just gonna miss the good shit. Okay, fantasy house. Okay, so I think I saw a version of it. It's funny. I had one idea, but then a real estate agent sent me this thing. And it blew my fucking mind. And I think it's my new fantasy house. This is building the arts district in LA called the Dutch Chocolate Factory. And it looks like a fucking vampire goth bat cave made of, and it's in all the walls, it's vaulted ceilings, and all the walls and ceilings are bachelor tile. You know what that stuff is? Look up bachelor tile. It's all the craftsman houses had that tile on the fireplace hearths.
Okay.
It was used very sparingly in the turn of the century, all the greenhouses. This shit's got it on the walls, the ceilings, the fucking floors. Like, some dude at the turn of the century was like, lay it all on bachelor. Like, just...
It's not too busy for you? It's not too, intense where you're just like, whew.
It's way intense. And there's red carpet.
All right, so our listeners need to look up the Dutch Chocolate Factory in downtown LA.
Yeah, downtown LA. It's basically the inside of Nicolas Cage's head. It's the inside of his brain.
Explain it. Oh, dude. Oh, I love it.
It's basically that. And it's like that would just be, it's like What We Do in the Shadows. Like, do you ever watch that show?
So great.
Yeah, it's like
Jermaine.
Nandor's house.
Oh, yeah.
I have to go home to my house in downtown LA.
Yeah, dude.
If anybody doesn't watch, they made it started as a movie, which is incredible.
But I heard that they made a series.
Yes, so funny and so wacky this season. You got to see it.
I got to check it out. I've been watching Dead to Me with my wife. We go back and forth. I get to watch a comedy, then I get to watch hers. Do I like it? I think it's well done. I like funnier, sillier stuff than drama and murder. I don't like negative stuff with people hurting each other. It makes me sad. I like Mighty Boosh. I like Mighty Boosh and South Park. I want to laugh.
And the guy who did Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland, has
I've heard. Yes, Solar Opposites. I heard it was good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very it has tonal. It's even grosser than Rick and Morty, which is kind of great.
Well, because Justin Roiland, before he ever teamed up with Dan Harmon, was doing hilarious, cartoony, silly.
Oh yeah, what is it House of Cosby's and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, dude. I watched his shorts. I said I've just so our listeners can hear me clearly. I've watched his shorts, his short films. I haven't watched his shorts, but I would. Justin,
that's the first thing I thought of when you said that. But now I have.
You watched Justin Roiland's shorts? That's right. I've watched a lot of amazing, talented people's pantalones.
Oh my god!
No, Solar Opposites is actually the show that I agreed with my wife that after we were done watching the new season of Dead to Me, we'll watch Solar Opposites. So I'm getting to it.
Duncan Trussell has a weird show too that I
watched really the whole thing. That's what we watched before.
Was it great?
I loved it. It was so weird because it's very creative how they did it, and it's not just a straight narrative cartoon. It's got. I don't want to spoil it because I think it's so good that I can't tell you you're going to love it objectively. But I would say it's worth your time to watch 3 episodes minimum to see how you feel about it.
My wife liked it a lot. She saw it. She's a huge comedy nerd, and she loves animation and stuff like that. And she seemed to like it. So yeah,
dude. I'm glad your wife liked it. Mine too.
All right, so the Dutch Chocolate House. And by the way, the building's for sale for only $10 million. You can buy a 3-story building, all bachelor tile. That I don't know first of all, I can never afford that. Secondly, I don't know what the fuck I'd ever do with it.
Yeah.
Open a goth club? I don't know.
Would you, in your fantasy house, would you have a goth club? That seems like a weird thing for Scott to have.
My fantasy house would have pizza ovens on every floor and a 9-hole golf course.
Yes.
And a 5,000 square foot separate house for a boxer farm, just a farm of boxer dogs.
Oh my God. Is that your favorite dog?
Yeah, I have two of them. They're the stupidest, silliest dogs I've ever been. They're like smart and dumb at the same time.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're the Scott Boxenbaum dogs. Huh?
It's an adorable quality to have. Is Licorice
yeah.
Boxer?
He's black, which is a rare color for a boxer. I've always wanted a black boxer. And I was going to name him Cassius Clay, a black boxer. But I don't know, man. Not in this day and age. I'm not sure that's a good idea. That might be a little too much white privilege there.
Well, you could have named him Ali and then been like...
I saw a boxer on Instagram called Layla Ali.
Oh, there you go.
Which I thought was really fucking adorable. And I said, I can't beat that. So Licorice, which is a cute name.
Licorice is such a cute name. Okay, so you have a boxer farm, 5,000 square foot boxer farm.
Fucking huge, dude. Huge boxer farm with all kinds of like shit they can run through, you know?
Yeah.
And also a 9-hole practice golf course with more pizza ovens, of course. And a part of the golf course is going to be a miniature golf course. And since I'm a huge political junkie, instead of Clown's Mouse, I'm going to have like Richard Nixon and LBJ and Kennedy. You know, that's how I'm obsessed with Richard Nixon. He's obviously a monster, but like his history fascinates me. I would have the three titans of 60s politics.
That sounds hilarious and weird. And but as fun as that is, want to know about this pizza situation. So if we were having pizza by the Richard Nixon hole on your miniature course, what kind of pizza would you be making for us, like, you know, on the show if we were filming your episode of Fantasy House?
Oh, yeah. No, that'd be Neapolitan because that cooks really fast. Neapolitan, and there would be a dude there, and it would be, you know, Neapolitan, they're very strict about what you put on pizza, on Neapolitan pizza, but I wouldn't have those rules. I don't think that's cool.
What would it be? Sauce? What kind of sauce would you put on Neapolitan?
Regular Neapolitan's is like the most minimal. It's a very puffy. It's puffy on the edges. You've probably eaten it before.
Oh yeah,
and thin in the middle. And it's a very simple pizza.
Like you'll have like the crust part is almost like this big, and then you have like the
right. It's called a cornicione on the outside.
A little
cornicione. It's really just tomato sauce and cheese and basil and a little bit of olive oil on top.
Basil. There you go. Yep, I just bought basil.
Yep. Well, there you go. I mean, I could tell you how to make it. It's the easiest pizza to make. It's hard to make well because it's a simple pizza that requires a certain amount of skill. But holy shit, so satisfying.
Dough is really difficult.
To make the dough is not. It's to shape it is a little bit of a trick. I'm still, as long as I've made pizza, don't make a perfectly circular pizza. Which, by the way, not necessary. Not necessary at all.
It's somewhat oval, like a little bit of a hockey rink.
Yeah, I'm oval. Occasionally it'll flip over by accident and I will have a calzone.
Yeah, no complaints there. If the dough...
One of them flipped over on my hand and I had a hand calzone.
Oh, dude. Okay, so we're having a Neapolitan pizza.
With Richard Nixon. And you get to hear the Nixon tapes while, if you make a hole in one, you get to hear like the missing 18 and a half minutes of the Watergate tapes.
That's the weird shit, the Watergate stuff.
Yes.
Where's the bathroom in your fantasy house? Or take us to one of the bathrooms. Okay,
so I have
your favorite bathroom.
My favorite bathroom is the ground floor powder room.
Okay.
And you know how Catholic people have a confessional?
Yeah.
And there's a guy behind a screen. Well, I have that while you're pooping, but it's just a guy who tells you everything's going to be okay. He's like an optimistic.
Love it. Dude,
he's just inspirational.
It's so brilliant, dude. I love that.
Yeah. He's just telling you, he's just a guy that's just, while you're pooping, he's you poop, he props you up. So there you go.
Instead of I read my Eckhart Tolle book, but it would be way cooler to be sitting next to Eckhart Tolle.
No, it's just a dude, and he has no sense of smell. Of course, you have to get it. It's like a eunuch, guarding. Yeah. Well, you can't put a guy in a bathroom that has a sense of smell, and he'd die in a day, especially after eating pizza.
Yeah.
So
got a good heart.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you to think of that.
Yeah, no, you gotta, the world is weird that way. I have, oh yeah, you had a personal room, right? I gotta say home theater, a mid-century modern home theater. And when my mother calls, there's a bot that just answers the phone and talks to her empathically, so I don't have to.
Oh, dude.
My mother is she is a Gemini, so Geminis don't fucking listen to anybody. They just talk. They're basically three people in one.
That's so funny.
Since she never listens, if the guy just talks to her and just goes, oh, that's amazing, fascinating, 10 minutes. She would never, she'd be like, I love you, bye.
Dude, my mom and I are both Aquarius, but my mom is the exact same way. She will call me like a steamroller. It'll just be like,
yeah.
And I'll just be like, Mom, did you just have an iced tea or a coffee? Because she'll just, and then she'll be like, okay, I got to go. I love you. And I'm like, did I talk? Or was it just my mom just telling me what's going on?
No, you didn't. You were not, your whole existence was not recognized on any level possible.
So, and I say that as a compliment, Mom, if you're listening. I don't know if
you're about to get kicked out of your fucking house.
Is there anywhere else that we got to go in your fantasy house? I feel like I want to give.
Oh no, garage, man. Okay, yeah. Garage backyard. Okay, so a lot of this is based in reality, but okay. So you were talking about vehicles. So you know that crazily angular Tesla truck?
Yeah, of course.
I fucking love that thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know that, like in the South, there's all those like big ass Fords and they have pipes and they coal roll people that drive electric cars. You know what coal rolling is?
I've never heard of it, but I imagine I already know what it is. Please explain coal rolling.
Okay, so they attach a pipe to their exhaust. And the pipe goes vertically, like you see in a
semi truck.
In a semi. Yeah. They have this weird thing they can do when they hate Teslas and electric and like Priuses. So they just push this button and fucking black smoke just blinds you.
Do they choose to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like troll Tesla drivers that way. So I thought
like that pride of like, I'm so dumb that I'm proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fucking total redneck pride thing.
That's so weird. And no offense to cool rednecks. I've known many in my life. But God.
A lot of great things came out of redneck culture,
Dude, there's plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's insane.
Like bologna sandwiches. But, okay, so I'm going to have a Tesla.
I'm kind of a redneck myself. I'm just...
I want to have my Tesla truck's going to do the opposite. So, like, if I see a gas guzzling, like, Ford F-150, my truck is going to pump purified oxygen. And secretly put a Goop sticker on their fender. You know Goop?
I don't know Goop, but
that's Gwyneth Paltrow's horrible website for like beauty tips and shit.
Okay,
so,
that's awesome. But I just love the fact that you're fighting their evilness with you're going to go
purified oxygen. And then I would love. When they're safe to have a driverless car, who the fuck wants to drive anymore?
I agree. Unless you choose to. If you want to go on a closed course and race around, yeah.
But instead of a robot voice, I want a very friendly cab driver from Brooklyn or a Cockney London cab driver.
Yes.
And they had that, like, tells me all kinds of gossip about celebrities.
This is like your basic.
Hello, governor.
Oh yeah,
Hey, I saw Robert De Niro fucking a prosty in the back seat. Like cool shit.
Just giving you the insider tips, all.
Yeah, man, just giving me the dirt. Or talking to me about my wife made a gabagool out of this world last night. Just like innocuous shit. I love that. I don't have to talk at all. It's almost meditative. And then, that's what I got going on.
Yeah, I love it. That's a fantastic fantasy house.
Right?
It's so rad.
Yeah. I thought about like my kitchen. I had originally some really weird ideas, like a water slide in my kitchen. And then I thought, well, I don't like the water very much.
You just wanted the water slide to impress. You're like, we have a water slide. John, look it.
And if you watch MTV Cribs from the 90s, MTV Cribs. Cribs. MTV's Cribs. MTV's Cribs versus Bloods.
This show's inspired by MTV Cribs. I mean, this is
worst faux pas ever. MTV's Cribs.
Yeah.
There is somebody who probably has a water slide that goes into their kitchen.
Of course. And it's great. And that's awesome when someone wants that. But the thing that I love about your house is that it was personal. Like, you're not trying to impress by like what would everybody be excited about if I had for my fantasy house.
No,
instead,
it's
you're
very
like,
narcissistic.
Excited about, and that was what makes everybody excited. It's like, oh, cool, pizza ovens on every floor. Oh, Richard Nixon and Kennedy's faces instead of the clowns for the miniature golf.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the bathroom with the. I
empathetic guy with no sense of smell.
Yeah, the confession, basically a bathroom confessional stall, but the instead of a priest, it's an empathetic guy telling you everything's gonna be all right. I mean, it's brilliant, and that personal stuff is what I love, and I think my listeners love too. So
I'm a very insecure guy that loves pizza. So yeah,
is that how you used to introduce yourself when you got on stage?
What?
I'm Scott. I'm an insecure guy that loves pizza. What's your name?
That's oh shit. See, I told you, this is all the shit I overlooked when I was doing comedy.
I know.
And
contrive to actually do comedy, but when you're out of comedy, you're not trying to contrive anything. It's like, it flows so naturally to just.
Right. As soon as, if you gave me a comedy notebook, I would throw up right now. I would vomit. I looked at my old comedy notebooks. Do you ever look in your old comedy notebooks, like year 1 or year 2?
I haven't for a while. Dude, I've been so busy since once we had my second kid, I haven't had time to do anything like that, but I used to do it all the time. I used to look at my books and see the crazy shit I used to write.
Oh, God. I found a diary from when I was 20 years old, and I was like, oh, I'm not that person, thank God, anymore. Cut off emotionally, I saw a girl that I like. I think I will get her name and call her. I was like, who? What, is this a murder robot talking?
Well, it's out of context. It doesn't have your, personality when you're just reading it. You have to, but yeah.
No, it didn't have any personality anyway.
It wasn't you trying to be funny. That was you just writing into a journal, or was that you trying to be funny and come up with a bit?
No, that was like me fucking taking myself seriously when I was 20 years old.
That's cute. Go back and read those thoughts and not judge yourself, you freak.
Oh my God. It was amazing. It was like, I was like, oh, I feel so sad for that guy. I was like, oh, that was me 20-something years ago.
Would you want people to get a hold of you at all? I mean, if you're, wanting to watch your stuff, or what would it be?
Yes. So if you would like to watch Fully Formed Adults, which I will give you the log line, is a series of awkward interactions between Gen Xers and millennials. So it's funny. All of my stuff is aggregated onto our site. It's fullyformedseries.com. And we don't have the season 2 yet because we haven't put it out publicly because we're trying to sell it. But we will have the episodes up there. But there are 6 episodes from season 1, and they're fun.
Go check it out, guys. Get on that website, fullyformedadults.
fullyformedseries.com.
Fullyformedseries.com.
Really butcher that shit. All right.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being a hashtag.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If you're first time listening, hit the subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review if you've been a long time listener.
Yeah, 5 stars, baby. Do it.
Or give us whatever stars you want. Whatever you think we deserve. Just
throwing stars. You see throwing stars.
Give us some throwing stars. Give us some stars of David that we can, wear around our neck out of gold.
I would love throwing stars of David.
Hey, I'm sure it's available somewhere.
Yeah, I'll kill you. All right.
I'm sure it's out there. Throwing stars of David. But be silly and have fun, guys, and be safe out there.
Bye. That was fun, dude.
Oh, dude, thanks for doing it. That was a blast.